8:07 at Y101 with a temperature of 63, kind of cloudy, kind of damp outside, but we have somebody in here who can play all sorts of instruments. She's 14 years old from Claxton. Micahlan Boney is our guest today. I was kind of worried about saying your name, Micahlan, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, welcome to the show, and the reason why you're here is to entertain everybody, but also you're going to be performing at the Real Squeal, right?
Yes, sir. I'm very excited about that.
Do you do many outdoor festivals?
Yes, sir, I do, but I'm particularly excited about the Real Squeal. It's going to be a wonderful event, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
How long have you been a musician?
I've been a musician since I was 7 years old, and I've started on the violin, and I've been picking up other instruments. I also play the mandolin and the banjo and guitar, and I am so happy that I get to share my music with people at the Real Squeal.
When you started, did you think you were really going to get involved in it, or did you just start and go, well, we'll see what this is like?
Well, with music, well, I suppose so. But I've just fallen in love with it so much, and it's become a real part of who I am.
Well, you have 3 instruments here. Those are the 3 you really play?
Well, yes, sir. I didn't bring my guitar today, but I also play that, and I play quite often.
Which one's the toughest to play?
Definitely the violin. It's kind of fights you a little bit, but you know, my instruments are like an extension of myself, and we kind of have a love-hate relationship.
Now, you play the violin, but you're actually playing the fiddle, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the difference?
Well, it's all how you fiddle around with it.
Literally.
Yes, sir. And I've also been told that you carry the fiddle in a sack and the violin in a case, so...
So how about when you're playing it? What's different about playing it fiddle style?
Well, that's a good question. Whenever I play the fiddle, I usually kind of I use other strings, so it gives it the fiddle sound, and the techniques are different for violin and for fiddle. Is
it harder to play the violin and easier to play the fiddle?
No, sir, not necessarily.
Not really.
It's just they're totally different. They're like mirror images of each other.
Like, who are your favorite violin players and fiddle players?
Well, one of my favorite fiddle players is Tommy Jarrell, and of course I love Charlie Daniels, and I really love Appalachian style of fiddling, and I try to take a lot of influence from that. My fiddle teacher actually taught Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, I once was dragged to a Yitzhak Perlman concert by my nephew, and because he was a violinist and he could play the fiddle.
Wow, that's awesome.
We actually went to that concert, and I guess that guy's pretty good, isn't he?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just a little bit.
So what are you going to play today? Because you got the fiddle ready to go. What are you going to play today?
Well, I would like to play you a song called Angeline the Baker, and this is on my fiddle. Micahlan Boney from Claxton. She's 14 years old. She'll be performing at the Real Squeal, and that really sounded good. What's the key to getting that good sound out of your violin fiddle? Just get the bow good and greasy. What does that mean? Rosin it up really well. Really? Y'all put stuff on the bow? Yes, sir. I did not know that. It's tree sap. Mm-hmm. You know, the violin is really interesting. I mean, you can get very elegant sounds out of it, but I guess at its core, it's really some horsehair, draped over a stick, and with some tree sap rubbed on it, and some steel strings with more tree sap. So
I always like to keep that in mind as I'm playing.
Having a nephew who was a violinist, I know he was very particular about his violin. What's the story about your violin?
Well, I've had it a few years now, and it's actually a classical, violin, but I have made lots of alterations to it to make it more like a fiddle. And it's been with me through a lot, and I love it. We're like friends. And recently I went to the Charlie Pool Festival in North Carolina, and I competed up there, and I actually won. So I'm the Charlie Pool fiddle champion, and I'm really glad that I had my fiddle up there with me, and something familiar on stage. but that was really cool, and I've learned a lot, on this fiddle.
What is a fiddle competition like?
Well, it's very nerve-wracking, and I was competing against adults, and I also competed on mandolin and banjo, and it was a wonderful experience, though. And I've only done 2, but I'm hoping to do more in the future.
Do you try to pick a song that's like really difficult to play, where they're going like, ooh, that's pretty good because the fingering's good and the bowing is good and all that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, definitely. And you just, try to do your best and try to give the audience an authentic sound.
Are you going to play anything else on the fiddle?
Well, why don't I play you something on the mandolin?
Okay. Now, one of the things you were concerned about was everything being tuned up. Now, not that any of us would notice, except maybe Philip. He might notice, but I certainly wouldn't notice. Is everything all tuned up?
Yes, sir. The mandolin has 8 strings, so it's a lot to do maintenance on. But it's in tune, so that's wonderful.
Now, that's what Vince Gill plays, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and the mandolin and the violin are tuned the same, but Bill Monroe played the mandolin, and he's the father of bluegrass music. So I love to play the mandolin, and I also love to do things on it that are not bluegrass and put my own spin on them on a bluegrass instrument. So I'd like to do one for you by Chuck Berry on the mandolin.
Stood a little cabin made of earth and wood, where lived a country boy, his name was Johnny B. Good. He never learned to read or write so well, but he could play guitar just like a ring and a bell. So go, go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Go, go, said go, go, go. Johnny be good. His guitar in a gunny sack and sit beneath the tree in the railroad track. For hours he'd be sitting beneath the shade, rocking to the rhythm that the drivers made. And people stopping by would say to me, oh wow, that little country boy sure can get down. So go, go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go, go. Go, Johnny, go, go. Johnny be good. His mama said someday you will be a man, and you will be the leader of a big old band. And people will be coming from miles around.
Johnny be good.
Micahlan Boney, 14 years old from Claxton, Georgia, blowing you away on the mandolin and also singing. And by the way, the phone's ringing off the hook. We're going to take some phone calls from Micahlan. Hi, you're on Y101.
You know, Micahlan rhymes with violin.
It does.
Did you ever think of that?
No, I have never thought of that.
You might could use that some way. I don't know. As
Wow.
a gimmick.
You're a very smart man.
Hey, Micahlan, I cannot believe that you're 14. Is Barney telling us the truth?
Yes, sir, he is.
She doesn't sound like she's 14 when she talks or plays, does she?
Listen, not only the way you talk, but the content of what you say sounds like you're a lot older person.
Thank you.
I mean, you sound like you're like 30 or something, like you've been around for a while.
She's not a fossil, is she?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Henrietta says she didn't know that was a compliment for a young girl, but...
It is.
But anyway, I mean, have you always lived in Claxton?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, you sound like you might have come from somewhere else.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Sounds like a Bammer, doesn't she?
Oh, Barney.
Okay.
But anyway, I just think, like Barney said, you are phenomenal. I mean, I cannot believe that you can play this well at 14.
Why does that shock you, sir?
Well,
why can't a 14-year-old play that well?
I don't know.
I mean, to yell at him.
But and your singing is very good too.
Thank you.
I mean, I am totally impressed. And you know, it takes a lot to impress me. You can ask my wife about that.
Somebody better warn Alison Krauss.
I know.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I don't want it to go to your head, but I think you're on track to do some great things.
Well, what does she want to do? What do you want to do?
Well, you know, I want to keep making people happy with my music. That's my most important objective. And I also teach lessons, and I hope, you know, that my music school will grow. But I just want to make people happy, and I look forward to the future.
Well, let me ask this man right here. His name, by the way, is Mean Philip Green. Mean Philip Green, are you happy?
I'm very happy, sir.
Wonderful.
That's happy music. And I have never heard Chuck Berry on a mandolin.
Is that hard to do?
You'll probably never hear it again on a mandolin.
Listen, I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Do you do any Elvis?
Oh, no, I don't. But you know what? I'm going to go home and learn some, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Elvis would go great on a mandolin.
All right, well, I'm going to let other people comment, but I am very impressed. This is one of the best things we've ever had on Y101.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I got a question, Barney.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
As being a supervisor, you know, she's 14 in the day school. You know how I am. Or why aren't you in school?
What are the same thing?
Well, that's a good question. I'm homeschooled, and I live in Claxton, so my mom teaches me. But you know, I love being homeschooled, and it gives me a lot of opportunity to focus on my music, but also, you know, on my school as well. And but I have my principal and my teacher in this radio station with me today. So
is this a class project?
Well, yeah, you could think of it like.
Because if it is, I'll give you an A or an A+ or something.
Well, I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Just give me the paper to sign.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll hand you something.
And I'll get you a note for being out of school today.
Okay.
Let's go back to the phone. Hi, you're on Y101 with Micahlan Boney.
Hi, Micahlan.
Hi.
I have a question.
Okay.
Did you do Tales from the Omaha this past year?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
I thought so. Cassie and I met you.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We came up and talked to you, and I told you about that she had the show on Y101.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just want to say you're awesome.
Thank you.
Are you happy, ma'am?
Oh, yeah.
You made another person happy.
I think she is very talented and probably going a long way.
Thank you so much. That just really makes my day.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Good luck to you, Micahlan.
Thank you.
Let's take another phone call. Hi, you're on Y101.
Good morning.
Hi.
Philip, I thought I was the number one.
Uh-oh. This is the Emmylou Harris fan, and she came up here and sang recently.
Wow. How cool is that?
Yeah, I want to talk to you. I'm going to be at the radio station in about 2 minutes.
Okay.
I think you're very good. I got my guitar, but I let somebody else call in.
You want her to sign it?
Yeah, I need to ask her a few things.
Well, let me ask her if she does autographs. Do you do autographs?
Not very well.
She doesn't do autographs. Ma'am, are you happy?
Oh, yeah, hey.
Wonderful.
I wanted to ask her about playing at the Moonshine Festival, October the 10th in Oak Park. They need people like you.
Oh, well, I would love to do that.
No moonshine involved, right? Because she's 14.
There's no moonshine or alcoholics, but it's to benefit the school. So,
Wow.
I'm turning in right now. I'll hang up.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Don't.
Whoops. She said she's hanging up. Did she say she's hanging up?
I got the door locked.
She said she's hanging up. She's hanging up. Hi, you're on Y101 with Micahlan.
I think she's wonderful money.
How many stars do you give her?
She said I demand real sister money.
Which one? Earlene, Barbara, or the other one?
All of them money.
All of them combined in one?
Yeah, money.
Are you happy?
I get her $100 money.
100 stars. Are you happy, though?
Yeah, money. I'm going to be at the Moonshine Festival too, money.
She's going to be at the Real Squeal.
At the Moonshine Festival, money.
She's going to be at the Real Squeal.
Yeah, money.
Okay.
I'm going to be there too, money.
What time are you going to be on the stage? Do you know?
I believe that it's from 4:30 to 5:30.
Write that down, Bubba. 4:30 to 5:30.
Oh, Saturday, money?
It'll be Saturday, right? Or is it Friday?
It's the 9th of October, and I'm not
That's Friday.
Friday.
That's
okay.
in downtown Lyons.
Yes, sir.
Well, I said her Friday there, money.
4:30 to 5:30 Eastern. Remember that, not Central.
And I see her in Oak Park, money.
You going to see her where?
Oak Park.
Well, she ain't booked there yet. She may be booked
We
shortly.
will, money. I moved to Oak Park yesterday, money.
Yes, sir.
So, you know, they got a celebrity over here, money.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
Well, thank you,
Hey,
sir.
you, money.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, money.
Yes, sir.
I want to see what vote for Donald Trump, money.
She's not old enough. She's 14.
Oh, no, money.
Thank you, sir.
All right, money.
Y101, you're on with Micahlan.
Got any biscuits for sale in there?
Micahlan, you have any biscuits?
I did not bring that. No, sir.
She brought instruments but no biscuits, sir. Are you happy? Sling blade. 5268123, the number to call. Are you going to play anything now, or you want to take a break, or what do you want to do? You're in command.
Well, I would like to play you one last thing, and then we'll come back. This is a wonderful song that is familiar to everyone, and I have the banjo here.
Too rocky by far. That's why all the folks on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet Top, Tennessee. Rocky Top, Tennessee.
You threw a curveball there at the beginning. You know where I thought you were going?
Where?
Dueling banjos.
Well, that was dueling banjos.
I thought it was.
So you guys better paddle faster.
Yeah. I thought you were going straight into dueling banjos, and then you went to Rocky Top, the Osborne brothers.
Yes, sir.
5268123 is the number to call. You're on with Micahlan.
Hello.
Geraldine is our musical reviewer.
She's doing a wonderful job. I love her singing and music.
All right, break it down for us. What is she doing well?
Playing that, whatever she's playing.
We don't know what it is.
And good singing and good music.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Geraldine, how many stars do you give her?
99.
99
Oh,
stars.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I really love her singing.
So you normally give 97 to the big-time stars.
Well, thank you so much. That makes my day.
It's hard to get 100 out of Geraldine.
You're going to be a good singer. You got a good voice for singing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope to meet you in the future, and I hope to see you at the Real Squeal, and thank you so much for that wonderful compliment.
Geraldine, are you happy?
I'm happy.
All right, another one's
Wonderful. Wonderful.
happy. Thank you, Geraldine.
You're quite welcome. I've enjoyed. Just keep up the good work.
Yes, ma'am.
Give her a catchphrase. You got a catchphrase?
Catchphrase.
Catchphrase. What are your catchphrases?
Be right back.
No, we're not going anywhere. No, we're fine. All right, thank you, Geraldine.
You're quite welcome.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hi, you're on Y101 with Micahlan.
I want to meet her manager, Money.
Well,
She's already got one.
she got two right here.
I'll take her either where she want to go to Nashville, Money.
Nashville. You want to go to Nashville?
Well, maybe.
Too many people up in Nashville. Where else can you go?
Well, I'm happy playing around here too.
Well, what are your long-term...
Canada too, Money.
Huh?
Canada, Money.
Right, she want to go to Canada. What are your long-term aspirations?
Well, like I said, I want to keep teaching and playing.
You're wonderful, Money.
I know she's... Thank you, sir.
But
I bet you listen to Money.
Ah, Bubba. All right, Bubba, thank you.
Bye, Money.
All right, sir. All right, so continue on.
But I also love science and I love academics and I know that'll be a big part of my future as well.
Well, my nephew went to Michigan on a violin scholarship. Are you going to try to get a big scholarship to a school like that?
Well, that would be great. It's a lot of hard work, but I know I'm up to it. I also love all things to do with medicine and whatnot. So
You want to be a doctor?
well,
So.
yes, sir, I do.
Okay, we have a commitment now. She wants to be a doctor of what?
Well, I'm not sure, but my name is Boney, so I'm thinking,
A bone doctor.
yeah, I would never have to advertise.
Micahlan Boney. Dr. Micahlan Boney, who can also play the fiddle, the mandolin, and the banjo.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to take a break right now for the ABC News break. We're going to come back and I guess we're going to play some more, right?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
And we'll take some more phone calls. The number is 5268123 to talk to Micahlan Boney, 14 years old from Claxton, or to phone at a birthday or anniversary for the drawing, which is coming up right before 9. It's 8:31, time for the ABC News break.